Well, hello and welcome back to Math Class. Today we're going to move on to something called solving two-step equations. You guys did a fabulous job of doing one-step equations, so we're going to do one more thing today before we move on. So I kind of wrote some directions down here to help us remember what to do. So our goal, remember, is to get the variable by itself, meaning we want the letter K equals something or M equals something. We want the variable by itself on one side of the equal sign. The second thing we're going to try and do is remember both sides of the equal sign must be treated equally. You've heard me say whatever you do on one side, you do on the other side. Okay? Step number 3, use opposite operations to end with the variable by itself. We talked about that a little bit when we did one step. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of multiplication is division, and so forth. And step number 4, we have to undo the addition and subtraction first. Okay, addition and subtraction first. Then we'll do the multiplication and division. This is something we're going to look at today with two-step equations. And finally, step number 5, show your work. It's the only way that we can really see that we have solved a two-step equation correctly. Now, I will leave it up to your teachers whether or not they want you to write all these directions down in your notebook. Pause the video so that you can do that. Otherwise, let's get started on a sample problem. Okay, first problem, our first equation is 2x plus 5 equals 21. Okay, first thing we have to remember is we want to get the variable x by itself. Well, if you notice, here's my balance, or my equal sign, and if you notice on this side, x is not by itself. It has 2 times x plus 5. We need to get that x by itself. Well, the directions up here say we're going to have to undo addition and subtraction first. Well, if we see here, we have an addition, we have a plus 5. So we're going to get rid of this plus 5 on this side, and we're going to do the opposite operation like we did the other day with our one step. So we're going to subtract 5 from this side. And obviously the rule is whatever we do on this side of our balance, we have to do on this side. So I like to work down like this. So obviously positive 5 and a negative 5 are opposite operations, and so they cancel out, leaving 2x. And of course we bring our balance down, and now we have to do 21 minus 5. Well, if you have everything lined up like this, you will know that 1 minus 5 doesn't work, so we have to borrow. And now we have 11 minus 5 is 6. And then we had this 1 minus nothing gives us 16. Now, is our variable by itself yet? Remember, that's our goal. It's not. It's still multiplying by the number 2. So if you can see, here's our balance still. Here's the letter x. It's multiplying. Well, up here we had to undo the addition and subtraction first. Now we're going to look at multiplication and division. What is the opposite of multiplying by 2? The opposite of multiplying by 2 would be to divide by 2 on this side of my balance, and then to divide by 2 on this side. Opposite operations will cancel these 2's out, leaving the letter x. And now 16 divided by 2 equals 8. So I need to make sure I write that x is going to equal 8 for this equation. Now, if I want to make sure I'm correct, I will go up here and check it. I'll rewrite my equation, and I'm going to go ahead and substitute x in. So if I put 2 times 8 plus 5, I want to check to make sure that that really equals 21. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 5, well, let's check if we want to make sure 16 plus 5 is 21. So my answer is correct. Okay, let's try another problem. All right, so let's try another one. Here's our equation. Step number 1, we can see here's our balance. The variable is the letter x. It is not by itself on this side, so we're going to have to get rid of the 5 and the 7. The first thing we get rid of, remember, is the addition and the subtraction. Well, here we have a plus 7. What is the opposite? The opposite would be minus 7. So I would put minus 7 on this side. Remember, the rule is whatever I do on this side of the balance, I have to do, and I kind of put a balance here to help me remember, minus 7 on that side. Positive 7 and negative 7 will cancel. What do I have left? I have x divided by 5 on this side. 16 minus 7. Well, 16 minus 7 happens to be 9. All right, well, I still don't have my variable. Here's my balance again. The variable still isn't by itself. It's dividing by 5. What is the opposite of divide? The opposite of dividing by 5 would be to multiply by 5. So I multiply by 5 on this side, and then I have to come over here and I have to multiply by 5 on this side. Because I'm dividing by 5 and multiplying by 5, yesterday you might have learned that these 5s can cancel out. So now I have the letter x, and 9 times 5 is 45. Well, let's just double check. If I have x divided by 5 plus 7, well, that equals 16. If I put in here for x 45, let's see, 45 divided by 5, ew, it is 9, and 9 plus 7 is 16. Okay, so this is a way to check your work if your teacher asks you to do so. All right, well, I want to keep doing some more sample problems. Here's my next equation. 3 plus 9x equals 21. I find my balance. I find my variable. It is not by itself over here. It has a 3, and it's multiplying by 9, so I need to get rid of it. Well, let's see. What am I going to get rid of first? Well, I do addition and subtraction first. This looks like an addition here, but if you look at this, this 9 is not adding with the x. It's multiplying with the x. And because it's multiplying, I don't want to do it first. I want to get rid of the numbers that aren't touching the variable. Well, the 9's touching the variable, so I want to get rid of this 3. How am I going to get rid of this 3? Well, this, I like to put a plus here so that I know that this is a positive 3. And because it's a positive 3 and I want to get rid of it, I'm going to do the opposite, which means I'm going to subtract it from this side. And the rule is whatever I do on this side, obviously, I have to go over here and do on the other side. A 3 minus 3 is going to cancel because they are opposite operations, leaving a positive 9x. Now, if you want to put the positive plus here, you can, but we know that 9 is positive when it doesn't have that plus in front of it. 21 minus 3. Well, we're going to have to borrow here, and we're going to have to say 11 minus 3, which is, do you guys know what it is? 8. And then 1 minus nothing is 1. So now we have a new equation. We have 9x equals 18. Well, here's the balance. The variable is x. It's not by itself. I have to get it by itself, so I have to do the opposite operation. The opposite of multiplying by 9 would be divide by 9. Whatever I do on this side, I have to come over here, and I have to do on this side. 9 divided by 9 is an opposite operation, canceling, leaving x. Bring down my balance. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So I found out that x equals 2. Well, if I would put a 2 right here, 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 3 would be 21. All right, so let's do another equation where we have a division problem here with our variable. Okay, once again, what do we have to do? We have to find our balance. Okay, we notice that the variable is the letter k. It is not by itself on this side of my balance, and so that means I need to get rid of the 4 and the 7. The first one I'm going to get rid of is the one that is either adding and subtracting or the one that is not touching the variable. The 4 is touching the variable. It's also division, and I want to do the subtraction one first. The opposite of subtracting would be to add 7 on this side. And the rule is whatever I do on this side, I have to do on that side. Once again, make sure you're lining things up so it's nice and neat. Negative 7 and a positive 7 cancel. They're opposite operations, leaving k divided by 4. K divided by 4. Bring down my balance. 5 plus 7 happens to be 12. Now I have a brand new problem here. Once again, I find my balance or my equal sign. And the rule is whatever I do on this side, I have to do on the other. K is dividing by 4. The opposite of dividing by 4 would be to multiply by 4. I'm going to multiply by 4 on this side, and then of course I have to come over here and multiply by 4 on this side. Okay. 4 multiplied by a division 4, those are opposite operations, so they're going to cancel, leaving the letter K. And 12 times 4 is 48. Let's see. These are always challenging. Let's just make sure that we did it correctly. So if I put a 48 in where K is, 48 divided by 4 happens to be 12. 12 minus 7, it does equal 5. So I know that my equation that I did is correct. All right, well, we've done a few practice problems. I have a worksheet for you guys for homework. Your teacher may do some more sample problems with you. Otherwise, I will see you guys all tomorrow.